Hey, we're live. We're on. We're on streaming. We got a guest.
Oh, gotta turn down the.
Yep. All right. Yeah. No, we're live. We haven't started the actual show yet, but we are on the internet.
We are live on the Twitch.
Yeah. And we have Josh from Cutthroat Comics here as well.
Back again.
Back again. Yeah, man.
Guess who's back? Tell a friend. Or our hundreds of followers.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we're just gonna kind of jump right on into this one. So, yeah, and Josh, I don't know if you remember, we do like weekly check them out kind of thing. What we've been stuff we've been doing for the last week or so, and then we do the news afterwards, and we'll kind of go through all that with you. Okay.
Yep.
And it's Cocaine Stripper Stronghold number 3. That's
Plugin.
That's the new one, right?
So that is one of the new ones. I have 3 coming out within the next month.
Oh wow!
Oh,
okay.
geez, all right.
Right on.
That's why I've been so tired. That's why.
Oh yeah. No kid. Yeah.
A lot of irons in the fire.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Wasn't
Work.
Yeah. All right. The very funny bit that I had for the intro.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Very dumb intro this time around. Someone, one of those scam, like, hey, we can boost your SEO, emailed us the other day telling us we were the number 2 entertainment news podcast in Zimbabwe.
Nice.
So
Sweet.
yeah, so we have we're doing a stupid intro for that.
This is gonna be great with AI voice.
Oh no, I'm gonna read it.
Oh
Yeah, I'm gonna mispronounce words and everything.
You're gonna get canceled right off the internet.
You know what? It's been
just
if I'm not allowed to use the internet after this, it's been a good run.
just don't do like a voice, like an accent.
Oh no, God, no.
yeah, we're not Wakandan forever. This.
Okay. All right. Everybody, ready to do this? Everyone feeling good?
Yep.
All right. Mahoro, Muya Ku Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that, according to one random guy on the internet, is the number 2 entertainment news show in Zimbabwe.
Yes, according to an unsolicited and an unverifiable email.
That's right.
That we received sometime last weekend.
Hey, we'll take it though. We'll take it. We're number 2 somewhere.
We're number 2.
No,
We're
Bob
number
way.
2.
All right.
Who's number 1?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
No, Bob way.
All right, so we have a great show for you this week. We have a bunch of news to go over and everything. We actually have a special guest with us as well. Josh Nealis is back again from Cutthroat Comics. Josh, how you doing tonight, man?
Oh, pretty good. Just finishing up my oatmeal raisin cookies as my snack, and then that'll be it. I'll have to brush my teeth and eat no more.
Hey, well, there you go. Hey, couple snacks though. That's good. All right, so before we get into our check 'em outs for the week, just want to take a minute or two and kind of talk about some things that are going on with you, Josh. So you have a couple of comics and projects that are in pre-order right now. Is that right?
That is correct. As we were kind of talking before, like things just happened this way. We don't normally, like, I've released 2 books before at the same time, like 2 novels and stuff. But I've never done 3, and accidentally, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
It turned out that way. The first is Cocaine Stripper Stronghold 3, which it's a 4-part series. I think last time I was on, was I plug-in number 2?
You were plugging number 2.
Yeah, you were plugging 2.
Yep, so we're on 3 now. Mike DiCarlo from DC Comics is back in full force.
Excellent.
Nice.
All right.
Yep, the last time in issue 1, he did the flashback pages and the cover. Issue 2, he just did the flashback pages, but in this one, he's doing the cover and the flashback pages once again.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right.
It's a fun series. Like the series goes from like post-apocalyptic zombie sci-fi, and then throughout the issues, it goes from that to full-blown Western. So we're almost on Western. it's been fun to see what Cristiano, my main artist, and Mike do with that transition.
Well, awesome. That sounds great. What are some of the other projects that are going currently?
The other one is Stingray. So Stingray was my first ever comic book that we put out as Cutthroat Comics.
Mhm.
It's violence, curse words, and aliens. But that was a 3-issue run, and just about a month ago, sold out of all of them.
Really? Wow.
So after you sell out of all the floppies, then comes the trade. So I'm working on and all these are on pre-order already.
Mhm.
Those in June 5th. So hopefully maybe by the end of June, they'll all be in the hands of the people that pre-order them. But I'm putting together the trade. That's what I was doing right before you guys dinged me to get on here. So
Oh, cool.
it's going to have some Easter egg pages. It's issue 1 through 3. It's going to have some Easter egg pages. I'm putting in, so I drew this comic book when I was in 6th grade. So I have that comic. So that will be going into the trade for people to see like how ridiculous it was even then.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
All right, that's awesome. That's
I
awesome.
think
I'm excited for people to see that.
Yeah.
I think I do remember seeing something about Stingray. I think you were at Pack Rat one time, sitting at a table, and I think I remember seeing it there.
Yep.
Or maybe some art for it or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It's been a while. It's been a long while since I've been up that way.
Yeah, that was, like I said, that was my first one. So I did 111, 222, and 333. So that's been the longest running comic.
Oh wow.
So it was sad when somebody bought the last one, but they did. So
One of those
and then the
bittersweet
last
moments,
thing,
right?
Yeah, it is bittersweet because it's like I'm happy to move on from it and make space on my table, but at the same time, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I wish I still had comics I drew 6th grade. That
Yeah.
would be something.
yeah, I have a whole like trapper keeper full of all these drawings and stuff that me and my buddy did when we were, little and stuff.
Oh man, that's cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I found a
That's
bunch of that at
awesome.
my childhood room recently.
And
Yeah.
so what's the third project? What's the third thing going?
So that one is brand new today. I just did the cover reveal, hour and 7 minutes ago at this point.
Fresh
So
off
everybody's
the
getting
press.
to look at the cover for the first time, and it's Death's Door.
Mhm.
It's a full-on novel, and it almost killed me. Ironically, I've written like 30 some odd books and comics now, and I'm like, not to like pull my own nuts or whatever, but like I'm good at it. I can just sit down and do it. This one was a challenge. It's
Okay.
the themes, because I wanted it to be really smart. I wanted it to make people think. It's very altruistic and philosophical. So it was hard to like hang on every word and make it make sense. And
Mhm.
so the basic story is a guy dies and he meets death, and death gives him unlimited chances to go back over, but he has to start from birth. He's not allowed to kill himself, and he has to relive every life. So, but he can keep going and going until he figures out what he wants out of life. So it's kind of got like obviously a Groundhog Day vibe to it,
Mhm.
but it's got like a Forrest Gump vibe to it as well. And like the tagline is like, happiness is only 1,000 lives away.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I like
Nice.
that.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that.
it's got some twists and turns, like a little. I don't want to say M. Night Shyamalan, but it's got a little bit of that vibe to it too.
What's a
like,
twist?
Yeah,
Well, right
It's-
on.
I've been telling people the ending. If anybody's read my books and stuff, like sometimes they get pretty dark endings, but this is I call it a beautiful ending. It's
Okay.
really makes me happy.
Well, good. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to picking that one up. That sounds
That
excellent.
sounds really good.
So
Good.
did I see that you aren't going through Kickstarter this time around for your pre-orders, or did I miss that?
Nope, I've decided to pull away from Kickstarter.
Hmm.
Nothing against them, and nothing against anybody that does that. That's just I have my website. I can do pre-orders on my website. So why, like, to build the thing for Kickstarter? I mean, it would take like 40 hours probably to do all the graphics and the words and get it all set up. Like, it takes a long time.
Mhm.
And then of course they take their cut on the back end. So it's, by the time you do it, you're almost losing money, kind of. And like, I've always had successful ones. I've never had one fail, but I just kind of decided, I was like, some of my friends and stuff, they've really found their audience on there. I just have never been able to find my audience on there. So I'm just doing it this way.
Okay, well that makes cut out the middleman. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into everything, do you want to go ahead and plug where folks can find you online? We'll do this at the end of the show as well. But
yeah. I mean, cutthroatcomics.com. It's got 2 T's in a row because people can't spell. In fact, I can't spell either. I mess it up all the time when I'm typing it. Cutthroatcomics.com. Instagram is cutthroat_comics. Facebook, Cutthroat Comics. And then having a lot more success on TikTok. I think we talked about that last time.
I think so, yeah.
It's going really well for me on there. I still don't have like a crap ton of followers, but it's definitely growing every day. And I've had TikToks, break the whole 300 views mark a lot recently. So,
wow, all right.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Okay, so I guess we're going to go ahead and jump into the show proper. And Josh, you're going to be sticking around with us for that as well?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right. So we'll go ahead and jump into our Check 'em Outs.
Check it out!
Just what a flourish you put
Yeah.
on.
One of these days, I need to get like sleight of hand something so I can make like something poof.
like one of those little fireball wrists.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So, things that we've been doing this week. Josh, do you want to go first, or do you want someone else to go so that you get a little bit of time to kind of think of something?
I mean, I can go ahead and go. I mean, I'm probably watching all the normal stuff that everybody else is watching, like Daredevil's over now, and the Punisher thing came out.
I haven't watched any
How
of
is-
it. I'm
yeah.
so behind.
How is the Punisher thing? I was going to dial it up tonight, but
Yeah, it's obviously if you like the Marvel stuff, go ahead and watch it. There's nothing. I enjoyed it. I needed about 10 minutes more. I think.
really?
I feel like I don't want to give too much away, but when it ended, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But we got Brand New Day coming out in a couple months. Maybe just maybe it'll kind of pick right up. I don't know who's to say. We'll know when we know.
Yeah. And I heard that they are thinking about bumping the Punisher, doing his own movie as well because of the popularity of the special whatever, streaming only one.
I had not heard that.
It was a rumor that dropped like just tonight.
Yeah,
oh, really?
It's
I've been working.
Yeah, right.
I still need to finish Daredevil. I'm only like halfway through that, I think, of the latest
It's
season.
good. I enjoy it. I'm big. Well, I don't want to say I'm a big Bullseye fan. I like Bullseye quite a bit, so I like his portrayal. I really want to get the white and black. Would be great, but so far so good.
Yeah, well, cool. Right on. Anything else that you've been checking out here recently?
Yeah, I mean, The Boys is over in a couple days. So
that's right. Yeah.
check that out. That's a lot of fun. I enjoy that. And then Euphoria. I've been watching Euphoria, which as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna watch the next episode. Although I don't feel this season is on kicking on all cylinders like the last two.
That's what I've heard, that it just hasn't been as good.
I've also heard this one's not been focusing on Zendaya's character as much.
Yeah, I think that if I had to guess, so the one guy died, and
yeah, he passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah, I really liked him on the show,
and it
I
sucked
think
because they left his parts so open at the end of that last season.
Yeah, well, yeah, they address it. They address it. I don't want to tell anybody
okay.
how they address it, and I also kind of feel like, controversy aside, Sydney Sweeney and Jacob Elordi, I feel like maybe they're too big now. I think
sure.
they didn't anticipate any of the cast really blowing up like those two have specifically. So I think it just, I don't know, it's just kind of something's off with it.
They don't want to be there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just busy and it's hard to do production with them being so busy.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's I mean it's okay. It's all right. But it's just, I don't know.
I've always kind of thought that it's not a bad show, but I've always kind of thought it was just kind of an all right show myself.
Yeah. I really liked the first 2 seasons, and yeah, this is just, I don't know, something's off.
Is this the last season for it, or is that still
I
kind
don't
of
know.
open?
I don't know if they're doing like the Righteous Gemstones where they just kind of plan every season as a oneer, and then if they get picked up, cool or not. But I heard that this is the last season. But and again, like I said, with the other, now they got 3 big stars in the cast. It's like, can we pay them?
Right.
It's gonna get too expensive.
Between that and working around, I mean,
well,
Zendaya has the Dune movie and a bunch of other stuff, and
she's also like the producer of the show.
Well,
yeah. Well, and Eric Dane, is that his name? He passed away too.
Yeah,
so
he passed away as well. Yeah.
I forgot that he was the guy until I was watching. I was like, oh, that's right. Yeah, and you can kind of, he's in some scenes and you can kind of tell. It's like, oh yeah, you can tell because what is it, Parkinson's, I think, or
I think
something
so.
like
Yeah, something like that.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I really wish they would have did one more Righteous Gemstones season. I think they could have did one more.
I love that show.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It is really good.
Okay, well, you know what? We'll go ahead and go kind of round robin here again. So the one thing I checked out this week was the new Mortal Kombat 2. God, that movie it's the right kind of stupid.
Okay.
It's not a great movie, but it's a very entertaining movie.
I was gonna say, is it at least fun?
Yeah. Oh, it's a blast. It's absolutely, don't think about anything too much because the entire plot falls apart. There really
so like every Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, basically.
Just like the other ones.
Yeah, and I mean, this one, it really doesn't even have a plot. This is the tournament. This is supposed to be the thing to, save Earthrealm or whatever. So that's the plot. There's really nothing else to it. Everyone is great in it. I would say there isn't really a bad actor in it, unlike last movie. The gal, I cannot recall her name, but she played Sonya Blade. Her delivery was not
she was
strong.
Terrible in that first movie.
She must have taken an acting class or two between then and now.
In the first movie, she was channeling Ronda Rousey's performance in the game.
From the game. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But no,
I feel like that was like the first movie, I think, that like HBO was like streaming a brand new movie or something, because they did that, and like then they did Justice League, the 4-hour thing or whatever.
Oh, the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Oh, and they did Dune that way too.
They did Dune that way as well. Yeah.
I watched the first Mortal Kombat movie, and that's the only way I would have, I think, is because I could on HBO Max, because it was right there.
It was right there. Might as well. Yeah.
I think that's how I was. Like I was sitting there, and I was like, man, I kind of want to watch something, and I'm like flipping through stuff. I was like, oh, I haven't seen this.
Yeah. I will say, for all of the advertising of the movie, with Carl Urban as Johnny Cage and kind of building up, hey, this is the Johnny Cage movie. It's really not. It's really more Katana and saving her land from Outworld, the bad guys, as much as, saving the Earth during the main tournament, which is just stupid. It was just, there was no rhyme or reason for who got picked to fight whoever. And like the way they kept track of it, there was basically a health bar floating in the sky. It was the right, like I said, the right kind of stupid. And they leave it on a cliffhanger for the third one. So there is going to be a third one. And I just saw about an hour or two ago, it made back, over the weekend, it made back its cost.
Its entire budget.
So it is a successful movie. It's not a bomb.
They were predicting that it was going to bomb terribly, but I guess not.
It cost $80 million to make, roughly, and I think over the weekend it made $100 million. So
yeah,
it is a successful movie.
See, they keep saying that about Motu when it comes out, and I don't believe it. I was like, I think that movie's going to do really well.
I just hope it doesn't have the Leto curse.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Everything they've shown so far of Skeletor, voice and visual, you can't tell it's him. So honestly, at most, I think we'll get like, as part of like the opening building whatever scene for the film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be Skeletor attacking He-Man's or
a pre-Skeletor.
I think it's going to be Keldor.
Yeah.
It's going to be his non-skeleton face form.
Because you got to put Leto's face in it.
Yeah,
somewhere.
so I think it's going to be Caldor.
For God knows who. I don't know who wants to see Jared Leto in anything, but...
Well, he might be doing a better job playing Skeletor in this because, he's a method actor, but how can you method act having a skull for a head? Yeah. So maybe he's been forced not to method act for this one, and it's actually gotten better. Who knows?
I mean, they've modulated his voice. He's got a CGI face.
He hasn't eaten anything in months.
One could hope.
Yeah.
I learned the other day that in the comics, it was Hordak that did that to Keldor.
Oh, it was Hordak. Okay.
That's what TikTok said. So.
Oh,
well,
gotcha.
I know in the reboot series in the early 2000s, in a battle with King Randor, He-Man's father, he tried to throw a vial of acid at him, and he deflected it, and it went back in his own face. So basically, he two-faced himself.
But, it's He-Man. The plot doesn't.
No, it really doesn't.
You have Barbarian with sword on one side and Skeleton Man on the other, and
Muscle Skeleton.
Yeah, you just take your action figures and you just start slamming them together until you get a 2-hour movie.
I mean, it looks like He-Man.
Yeah,
as much as they were trying to push it to be, a serious movie, but also all the references are there for the goofy stuff. So it's it looks the right amount of right, I guess.
I heard Orko isn't in it.
Oh, really?
Oh, I'm sure he'll pop
I can't
up.
remember where I read that, but I think the rights are different for him.
No.
Because he's a Filmation created character,
Oh,
I guess.
They're all Filmation created.
No.
Oh, yeah, they were all originally
some of them
toy.
are Mattel, and then some of them are Filmation, so it's kind of like
a
juggle.
I do wonder if they're going to bring the Horde and Hordak, or at least mention them.
That would be my guess. They're setting that up and She-Ra and all that.
That'll be the post-credit. You'll see She-Ra and Hordak and all of them.
Yeah. Oh, man, could you imagine, in the movie with, Adam, wandering around, regular modern Earth, if he since his mom is from Earth, wonder if he'll run into Adora? Or the person who is going to be Adora?
Yeah.
What was that Farrelly Brothers movie where Chris Klein is dating his sister or whatever? They'll do that.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's a good movie, actually.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be Joe Dirt.
Yeah, you're my sister.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about.
I would hope that they would take from the Indy Stevenson She-Ra, but they won't.
No, they won't. But it was also too good.
Yeah.
It was too good.
Too good for this world.
All right.
Hey, Adora.
All right.
I loved their Catra. I loved it so much.
Well, Josh H.
That's
yes,
the
Josh. We're doing it today.
Josh the original.
Yeah. So what have you been doing? Putting you on the spot.
Oh Lord. Let's see. I know I've been talking about it a lot, but over the weekend, the Graveyard Keeper DLCs were on super sale, so I picked them all up for super cheap, less than $8. So that was nice. Made my life in that game a little easier now that I have zombie minions to do dumb shit or dumb stuff. Other than watching a lot of Project Runway, we haven't really been doing a whole lot.
Project Runway, okay.
Well, so we have a Samsung TV and we have stupid random channels.
Sure.
Yeah, me too.
And Brandy found the Project Runway channel. But it's been running a lot. And it's from all over the place. Mostly 2014.
Okay.
That feels like that's a lot of those.
Have you learned how to smize the smile with your eyes? Isn't that something from it? That's all I know about
no,
it.
I feel like that's I think that's America's Next Top Model.
Oh, is that what that is? See, I'm getting them mixed up.
With Tyler Banks.
I have no clue.
It could be RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't know.
For all we know, yeah.
I don't know. As somebody who does do the occasional construction with textiles, that part of it, I like watching the sausage get made. I like seeing
making the clothes and stuff.
Like, I hate the drama. I hate high fashion. I really hate avant-garde. It's so pretentious. But I like Tim Gunn. He's fun.
Yeah, he seems like a sassy guy.
He makes it work.
Yeah. Good joke. Good joke.
I know, right?
Speaking of keepers, since you mentioned Graveyard Keeper, I've been watching a lot of Tales from the Crypt since they just got added to Shudder
Oh, nice.
recently, like the whole series.
The whole thing, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty fun to watch. I mean,
There's a lot of people on that show over the season.
Oh yeah. Well, you go back and watch a lot of those shows. You'll see a lot of famous faces before they got big famous on like some of that random stuff.
Yeah, just like the third episode has Leah Thompson in it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
She plays a hooker that sells her age for power, or her beauty for power kind of situation. And the whole show is basically just like, what if Twilight Zone was really sleazy and hosted by a little creepy dusty man?
Puppet?
Yeah, dusty puppet. Like as long as you like go in with that level of like expectations,
You're not looking for like some horror masterpiece.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. There was an episode where
I mean, come on, the Crypt Keeper speaks in puns.
Yeah. I've noticed he calls the audience humans a lot, and I'm like, isn't that what you are? Like, aren't you just a corpse of a person? Like,
well, maybe he doesn't identify as a human anymore because he's undead.
I guess not. But there's an episode where an old guy retires who worked all his life and comes home to spend time with his wife now, who's obsessed with animals. And he just goes nuts and starts taxidermying the animals.
Oh.
And his gift was like a golden hammer that he got from work when he retired. Like, thanks for 40 years. Here's this golden hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as soon as you see that, you know, like, well, at the end of this, that's hitting him in the head.
Yeah.
And it did.
And it did? Yeah.
But also his wife taxidermed him into his living room chair. So.
Oh, okay.
That sounds like a Tales from the Crypt, ending.
Yeah, and the episodes are only a half hour long too, so it's good, like a short.
Oh yeah.
Just a fun little short story every once in a while. When I sat down, I'm like, it's gonna be an hour like every show is now, but no, it's just a quick half hour, sleazy 90s HBO show.
Honestly, I thought they were even shorter than that. I thought it was 2 stories in one episode. I thought they were 15.
Nope, they're 30-minute.
Huh. They're like Are You Afraid of the Dark? But sleazy and late night.
The Tales of Shock and Terror that I publish, the guys that write that book do a Tales from the Crypt podcast, like they do each episode.
Oh, really?
Nice.
And then oddly, they finished that, and now they're doing Are You Afraid of the Dark? So they're doing that.
Nice.
Oh, excellent. All right.
Nice.
All right.
I think the first time I've been on that as much as I've been on you guys, if not more. And I think the first time I went on, the week before was the voice of the Crypt Keeper was on their podcast. So it's like I knew him about a week.
Oh, that's
John
awesome.
Sear or something.
John Sear. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's excellent.
Yep.
There's like, I think the 3rd or 4th episode, it's Richard Donner directed it.
Oh, really?
And it is 100% like an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode where they say swears.
Oh, really?
Like, it's even shot like almost the same.
Oh,
There's a lot of
really?
just like the kind of angles and camera tricks you would see on that show for some reason. It's really weird.
Oh, that's
I think,
awesome, though. That's great.
Alicia Cuthbert was on Are You Afraid of Are You Afraid of the Dark? She was one of like the people around the fire.
Yeah.
The Midnight Society.
You know?
Yeah. Speaking about this kind of stuff, it reminded me of a friend of the show, Doug Jones.
Yes.
I used to watch this horror anthology show called Fear Itself from 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And Doug Jones was in one of the stories in that one where he played a Wendigo, or a person possessed by a Wendigo.
Oh, yeah.
So remember when we met him all those years at
I do.
Yeah.
He tussled my hair. He
Yeah.
was yes, that was.
Yeah, when I had him make that autograph,
Mhm.
I had him make a reference from that show.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
And it was the line was it's just meat.
It's just very nice. All right. Well, does anyone else have any other check-ins before we switch over to the news?
No,
I think we're
I'm
good. I think it's news time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and jump into the news. All right. Yeah, we have a handful of things here
Yeah, we
to go
actually
over.
kind of do.
Yeah, we started off the night pre-planning, going, boy, there really isn't a whole lot, and now we have like
Now there's actually quite a bit.
almost double digits things to talk about.
We filled
so.
the whole dry erase board.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and start at the top. I guess there is going to be yet another Jay and Silent Bob movie.
He's going
It's in
back
the
to that
works.
well.
Yeah. Let's see. It is called Bob's Store Wars, and the plot that's been announced so far has been released is Jay and Silent Bob own a dispensary, and they're fighting with their business's next door neighbor, who is another dispensary.
You know, I would only imagine that.
That sounds like a sitcom episode, not a movie.
You know, I'm glad he's still doing stuff. I think
His heart attack scare.
Well, no, I think he's been fine after the heart attack thing. I mean, he is literally half a man he used to be.
Probably even a third.
But didn't buy new clothes.
But didn't buy new clothes, still wearing the baggie. Yeah, you know. But you know, I'm glad he's still doing work, and I appreciate the time that I spent with his previous films, but
Yeah,
I think I maybe have aged out of the Kevin Smith, at least his mainline USQ stuff. I mean, I liked Tusk, and
Red State was pretty good.
Red State was good, but
Really good.
Yoga hosers.
yeah, I didn't even
No,
know.
I
that
tried.
one's a little corny.
Yeah,
It's worth watching. I'll watch anything he does just because, like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, if I have nothing going on, I mean, I still go back to Dogma every now and again. That's maybe one.
Dogma's probably my favorite one he's done.
His original trilogy was extremely important to me as a growing young adult. Like
Sure.
I would watch Clerks and Dogma and even Chasing Amy just like back to back to back.
Oh, Mallrats.
Mallrats.
That's what it was. It
Mallrats.
was Clerks, Mallrats, and Dogma,
Chasing Me.
and then sometimes Chasing Amy.
Yeah. But no, I appreciate. I'm
Girl, right? You know, watch
Yeah.
Jersey Girl.
Jersey Girl. Yes.
Which isn't even part of that line.
Yeah,
it was
but
just a separate movie.
Jersey Girls wasn't even that bad. It
Yeah.
got
Yeah, I
a lot of
remember it
flack.
getting-
It was fine.
Yeah.
I think it's because
Yeah.
people wanted it to be like another Chasing Amy, and it's not that.
Yeah.
That story is not that.
It was just his attempt at a more
mainstream.
Serious.
mainstream,
Yeah.
romantic comedy, which
I didn't even just like was Cop Out. People like rag on that. I thought it was fine.
Cop
I
Out
mean,
was
it's-
fine.
I never saw
Not
it.
like the best
I didn't even
thing
realize
ever,
that was a
but
Kevin
it's
Smith
cool.
movie.
Yeah, I watched it once. I'll probably never watch it again, but it was fine. It was perfectly fine.
I think Jay and Bob work better
As side characters.
as side characters in another movie than they do as main characters in a movie.
Yeah.
They're a flavor enhancer, not the main course.
Yeah, I could see that. They're definitely they're some of the best parts of the other movies, but
Yeah.
that's also because they come in, they do their bit, and then they leave. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm way behind on Kevin Smith.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't seen Clerks 3. I didn't see the last Jay and Silent Bob movie.
I forget the last one even exists.
Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, I believe, is what it was
Oh,
called.
Something
yeah,
like that, yeah.
It's all, I enjoy all of them.
It's all whatever.
Some are better than others, but it's all,
Yeah.
it's fun.
I liked a lot of his podcasts there for a long time. The Smodcast and
Podcast.
Batman on Batman.
Batman on Batman was really good there for
Can't
a
call
while.
himself that anymore.
Yeah.
Now he's Thin Man on
Thin
Batman.
Man on Batman.
All right. So next up, I guess this is more of a cultural, I guess, or whatever. The Switch 2 price is going up because everything has to be more expensive now.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's going up by $50. So like it costs the same as the version that comes with Mario Kart, except now you don't get Mario Kart.
Is the version with Mario Kart also going up?
It's gone.
Oh,
I
it's just
think
gone.
If you can still find that in a store, you can get it, but I don't think they make actually produce.
They're not packing that one anymore.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha.
The last one I saw, I think I saw one at Walmart a couple weeks ago.
Huh. Well, that's a bummer that the price is going up. But again, that's just kind of
so is everything else.
everything else
I mean,
is. So you know.
Look at the amiibo prices.
Well, yeah.
Their stock prices took a big dip too because of it, because they haven't announced any big games recently.
Yeah.
Not
I guess
tr- you're not wrong.
Star Fox doesn't count.
Starfax.
Carfax.
Carfax, yes.
It's your spaceship's log of damage you had every time you go to the shop. They take down your R-Wings VIN number.
I'm hoping that they have another direct here soon. With
they
some of their main
They
games.
need something.
There's
something.
been leaks saying that there is one coming up next month, if you believe that kind of stuff.
Ah, gotcha.
My thing is, there's only a couple exclusive titles to the Switch 2,
Mm-hmm.
and only like 2 of them are any all that great.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, the only games really worth playing if you don't already have a regular Switch, Bonanza,
Yep.
Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Pokopia.
Oh yeah.
Like, as much as I love Mario Kart World left a lot to be desired and has so much room for DLC, and they still haven't done anything.
It's not better than Mario Kart 8. It's
No,
not
it's-
worse.
It's not worse, but it's not better either. No.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting on the next Fable. That's all I'm waiting on.
Ooh, I'm
Far as
so
I'm
excited
concerned.
for that Fable
That
game.
looks really good.
Here I thought I'd never see Albion again.
Mhm.
I
Those
need to
games are
play-
so good.
Mhm.
I never played the third one. I need to go back and play the third one.
I
I've
loved
only
the
played-
third
I've
one.
only
The third one was a birthday present to me
Nice.
back on the 360, and it was amazing.
I've only ever played the first 2.
Yeah. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll let you borrow it.
Okay, I think it's on Game Pass though.
It was a 360 game. I don't know.
Well, speaking of games, Josh, you put this one on the list. Josh H put this one on the list. Kerbal Space Program, the game.
Yes, a 10-year-old space agency simulation game has recently seen a resurgence on Steam because of the Artemis 2 moon mission.
People want to shoot things in space now. They saw it happen for real, so now they want to do it in a video game. That's fine. That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Let's keep the train going.
Yeah, I like seeing people excited about science happening in front of us, and I miss that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched live when they splashed back down to Earth. I thought it was really cool.
I really feel like
In real life, the Artemis, not Kerbal Space Program.
obviously. I wish the rescue crew would have wore 8 masks. That would have been really great.
Oh yeah.
They had trouble getting them out of the capsule though too. They lost communication. And
really?
Like with the people on the boat coming to pick them up, they had like a little bit of an issue.
Oh,
Yeah,
I did not know that. That's
but they got them out obviously.
Well, obvious, yeah. Well, good. Okay, next up, we have a couple of trailers that we kind of watched beforehand. The first one is Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, the Big Bang Theory spinoff. About
That looks
the
better than the original show.
you know what? It's filmed and looks like an actual like prestige show. It's not the 2-camera sitcom style that Big Bang and the
Others
Yeah.
are famous
In the
for.
trailer we watched, like it looked expensive up until the parts that didn't.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the main universe scenes have like the 2-camera are like the sitcom, and then they jump. The whole thing is they're jumping from one parallel universe to another. Something's happened, and they're jumping back and forth, and to all these universes that have different things. And yeah, the other universes are filmed like real
TV shows. Yeah,
They did, and there's a Matrix reference in there. They got him pulling the
Tube out of his
Tube
throat.
out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
yeah.
It's,
There's
I'm
the
excited.
authoritarian government
Mhm.
episode, which every
so,
reality does that.
There was a really
Every
bad...
night for the last like 5 or 6 years, I put on Big Bang Theory, and it plays all night while I sleep.
Oh, really?
So I've literally seen it and heard it hundreds and hundreds of times.
I'm sorry.
Like, I love it. It's my comfort show.
I hate that show.
Yeah.
You know
I'm
what?
not a
It's-
fan. I'm not a fan.
You know,
Yeah.
I watched a lot of it with my folks. I would go over once a week and get dinner with them, and it would be on back when it was on syndication, and we would and you know, it's fine.
That's kind
It's
of
a
what it's
sitcom.
designed to be, is just a comfort show. That's what those sitcoms like that are. It's
Yep,
you
Friends and Seinfeld and all those. It's just background stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, Young Sheldon was pretty good, even though you knew how it was going to end. If you watched Big Bang Theory, you knew what was coming. And
Sure.
What's the Mandy and Georgie and Mandy? I've seen.
Wait, there's another
One-
spinoff I don't know about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
what is it? It's his
brother,
brother,
his older
older
yeah.
brother and their wife. They keep getting married and divorced to each other or something like that.
Yeah, it's their first marriage, and I can't remember if it's on season 2 or 3. I haven't seen the newest season, but it was okay. It's got Will Sasso on it, so I mean that's worth it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm perfectly fine with, because I know a lot of like the stigma with it with Big Bang Theory is, oh, they're making fun of nerds. They're making fun of pop culture and people that are into this kind of stuff. Really aren't. There were maybe the first season there were a handful of episodes like that,
Yeah.
but they started leaning more and more into the science side of things instead of the pop culture side of things. And when they would use the comics or movies or TV or what have you, as they would use it as flavor for the plot of the episode, not like
The joke.
not like punching down. The only episode that really felt like they were kind of punching down on it was, there was an episode that the 4 guys were going to a convention and they were dressed up in Star Trek, like original Star Trek. You know the episode I'm talking
I
about.
love that episode. It's so funny.
It's a pretty good episode, but that one did feel like they were kind of, you know, because
they get a milkshake. Sheldon gets a milkshake thrown on him, and then the cop makes fun of him, and it's still pretty fun. I don't know. I love because they were, who were they? They were Picard, right?
Kirk.
So they were
Borg.
the
the original.
And Borg.
Oh, there
Howard
was a Borg as well. Yeah.
So they were just Star Trek. They weren't just original Star Trek.
Right. They
Yeah,
were. Yeah.
D&D.
And what they were doing, they were driving out to the con and they stopped at Ayers Rock because they filmed so many of the old episodes
In
there.
Ayers Rock, yeah.
And then their car breaks down and they had to go to a diner out in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of normies.
almost. I mean, the car didn't break down, but we definitely did something very similar when we went to that con, as in Star Trek.
Oh yeah, no.
Regalia, and stopped at a gas station to get drinks.
Yes, but
Had to go in full uniform.
I can't tell you how many times I've had to go to a Walmart or a gas station in my full LARP outfit and then seeing all the average people staring at me, and I'm like, during an Origins game fair, me and a buddy went to have lunch at a pub or something down the road from the convention center, and on our bill we were monikered as the sink wizards because we were sitting in front of the bar sink.
nice.
Before you move on to the next thing, if that's what you're going to do, just so the people of Zimbabwe aren't shouting at their screen, so their car gets stolen, doesn't break down.
Stolen, that's it. Yep, that's it. And that episode, even though they were kind of, the main plot was, we're going to make fun of, you know, kind of pop culture a little bit. The B plot, all the 3 girlfriends go, okay, well, why are they into this stuff? So they grabbed a couple of comics and were reading through them, like grabbed one of the guy's long boxes, and they got into an argument about whether the Red Hulk could lift Thor's hammer or not. They were like going super deep into like,
if Hulk picks up,
he couldn't because Thunderbolt Ross is not worthy.
the issue that they pulled up was that he did, and it was a real comic that it was like a big deal, you know, like 4 or 5 years prior, and it was one of the first episodes that had Stewart from the comic shop, because they end up going to the comic shop to try to find more issues to try to stop the argument. So it was kind of cool that, you know, they had kind of both sides of it. The guys going, being like, well, maybe we should tone down our stuff a little bit, in public, and the girls going, maybe there's more to this than just,
what we think.
Goofy kid stuff,
I always liked the one Big Bang Theory joke that always made me laugh was when they all dressed as the Flash.
Oh yeah,
and they're like, we need to line up in a line so it looks like we're one person running really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's season 1, I believe.
That
probably
was season 1.
probably.
Yep. There was actually, I think, a callback to that. There was an episode where Sheldon had caffeine for the first time or something like that, and he runs out of his room wearing the Flash costume and just started running around the apartment going zoom, zoom. Yeah. So
then there's 3 episodes. Then there's the first one that Josh mentioned, that one, and then there's another one later where Sheldon thinks he's addicted to caffeine, and he imagines the Flash talking to him and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember that one as well. Yeah, and that show had a pretty good finale as well. They wrapped it up pretty well, all things considered.
I'm not gonna say I cried, but I maybe could have.
Could have, yes.
Could've.
They were right there,
It was close. Well, because spoiler alert, the guy from Bare Naked Ladies sings the song acoustic at the very end, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
You think they'll make it Old Sheldon?
Old Sheldon?
I was just thinking that the other day. I was like, they should do like an Old Sheldon now.
Yeah.
Has Chris Parsons done anything?
Jim
Parsons. Right. Jim Parsons. Has he done anything?
He was in one movie.
He was in that. He was in an animated movie called Home. That was a DreamWorks.
Yeah, that wasn't very good. I didn't.
No, it was not.
He was like an ensemble cast movie that was actually decent. It almost felt like a play, but I don't remember what it was.
He does a lot of stage work. The last time I was in New York, now this would have been like maybe 10 or so years ago. One of the things my family and I did, we went and saw an off-Broadway performance of Harvey, the play about the
rabbit. The guy sees a rabbit.
Yeah. And Jim Parsons was the Jimmy Stewart part.
Okay.
He was the main.
He's the guy that could see the rabbit.
Did he do the voice? Did he do a Jimmy Stewart voice?
A little bit, not like a ton, but like a respectable amount.
Yeah.
So he does a lot of stage stuff. I'm sorry.
Animal Farm that's coming out. I think the animated one.
Oh, he's in that.
No, this is the one. This is the live action one. He's a voice in that.
Okay.
Okay. I heard that animated one is terrible.
Not even out yet.
Yeah, I don't think that's out yet. I don't think.
I think some people have seen it, and I've heard the animated one is really bad.
Well, I could have told you that just looking at the poster.
Yeah.
But
news.
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch off here.
Get back to it.
Yeah, the other trailer that we watched was My Adventures with Superman Season 3. That's going to be dropping here pretty soon.
The first 2 seasons are amazing. Me and Cody can,
I can
attest to that.
I could talk about the first half of the first season.
It's so good.
It is, and it looks like they're adding a bunch of characters this season.
Yep. We're getting Superboy. We're getting
Cyborg
Superman.
Yeah. One of my favorite gags. I'm sorry?
I may have to put that on the list. I've heard nothing but good things.
It's so good. And Brainiac's design in the second season. So good. I love it so much.
Well, one of my favorite gags, there was an episode with Mr. Mixel-Pitalik.
That was a good one.
And he's like going through and like snapping his fingers when he's introducing himself to Superman, and he's like switching him from all the different animation styles that he's been in. Like he turns into the DCEU or the DC animated the Bruce Timm style.
He's the Bruce Timm.
He goes to the Fleischer style and like a couple others.
And at one point he was a crab.
He was a crab with the cape at one point. Yeah.
It's like, was I just a crab?
Yeah. But it was really cool.
It's in my notes in my phone. Now I have to watch it.
Yep.
That's the rule.
And they're doing it's not really a spin-off, but it's same kind of style, My Adventures with Green Lantern. And they picked one of the newer ones, Jessica Cruz, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I like that character. She's maybe one of my
superhero girls. Did you guys watch that ever?
I watched a couple episodes way back in the day.
My
It's
niece was
cute.
into it
My
briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kid was that age when it was on, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
It was pretty, it was definitely more for, younger kids, but it was a lot of fun.
The character
yeah.
designs were fantastic, I thought.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. It kind of reminded me of like Equestria Girls with superheroes.
well, I mean,
honestly.
it was Lauren
It's
Lauren
Lauren
Faust.
Faust.
It was
that
Lauren
was-
Faust, wasn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, the animated Animal Farm is out, and it has a 27 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. So not great.
yeah.
I mean, it just justifies more of my reason not to watch.
yeah.
Okay, a couple of quick hits here. Weird Al Yankovic is heading to Broadway. He is creating a musical called Dare to Be Stupid. So it's going to be a musical with a whole bunch of his parodies and stuff
Have
on
they
it.
said what the plot?
They have
is?
not. They
I'm
just
curious.
announced it. Yeah. Oh, I am too. I don't know if it's going to be like the movie Weird, where it was like
Yeah.
the fictional
The
biography.
fictional biography.
That movie's fantastic.
That movie's-
too.
That was a lot.
Daniel
That was a lot.
Radcliffe is Weird Al.
Yeah. But no, that's cool that he's
makes sense.
heading that way.
It
yeah.
makes sense.
I mean, he
That
doesn't
could be-
really need to do anything. He's like so nerd famous, it's ridiculous.
But like a jukebox musical with Weird Al songs is a good idea.
Can you imagine
Absolutely.
like Across the Universe did for the Beatles, but for Weird Al,
Oh yeah.
where they just take all the bits from his songs and then they kind of create a plot around it?
You said Across the Universe, and my brain thought of Yesterday, the movie about the guy who somehow wakes up in a world where there were no Beatles songs, and he starts playing them and becomes super, super famous. Someone wakes
That
up
was
in,
okay
in a
movie,
world with.
actually. It was decent.
Yeah,
That's a
no,
decent movie.
I liked Yesterday quite a bit.
Yeah, somebody wakes up in a world where no one ever thought to take popular songs and change the lyrics.
Yeah. Okay, other stuff. Looks like eBay officially rejected the bid from GameStop to try to buy them.
Shocker.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah,
surprised.
big shock. This is my shocked face. Well, maybe not. I'm shocked, not that shocked.
What was the quote from eBay?
Let me
had a
look it up
great-
here. It was a great
It was a
quote.
great quote.
Lost losers, something like
Yeah.
that.
Basically.
Yeah. Let's
New phone, who dis?
Sorry, I was in the shower.
Oh yeah, he called it neither credible nor attractive.
Yeah.
Which is what people said about me in high school.
Aw.
See, I was going to say that, much like some of the dates I went on when I was on the dating apps years ago, neither credible nor attractive.
what the Apple podcast app reviews say about this show.
No, people would have to review it for them to say.
Well, if you follow this website at the end of your receipt, you could take a survey. Nope.
Nope.
So in one of my books, The Bro Code, I stole a story for that one of my buddies told me. So it's mostly kind of true. I spun it a little bit, but he went on a date from one of the dating apps, and the girl that showed up was not who he thought she was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so they went and ate and stuff, and then after they were done eating, he got a to-go box or whatever, and she asked him if she could have it and stuff, like to take it and stuff. And there's more to it, but that was really funny that she asked him
That's
for his
literally hitting him
leftovers.
with the, hey, you gonna eat that?
Yeah,
I'm
it was
gonna eat
literally
that,
like
but
that.
later.
Cody, tell me about the Scooby-Doo anime that's happening.
Apparently, this something that I'd seen pop up before that Warner Brothers was making this. It's like an anime adjacent Scooby-Doo, like an anime inspired Scooby-Doo show
Mhm.
called Yokoso Scooby-Doo, and it got picked up for like a full season order through Tubi of all places,
Really, Tubi?
which is weird. You'd think
Or not to be?
no, it
Ah.
is Tubi.
That was the question.
It was.
Tubi's got some decent stuff actually. I was scrolling it last night. I was like,
It's a
"There's some good
great
stuff
place for like vintage cartoons.
here."
Yeah, but you don't see them pick up first run animated shows like that.
You don't
Especially
see them pick up first run anything. Tubi is like the streaming Big Lots or the streaming Ollies. They get everything after it's old.
That's really mean to say that
Yeah.
it's streaming ollies. that is uncalled for.
Oh, sorry, streaming home buys.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you
That's
say in
even-
this the
that's even worse.
Scooby-Doo show he like is helped by his
His
uncle?
uncle Daisuke do. Because they free a bunch of yokai or something like that.
Oh.
I'll bet they take that bit about that rock that broke and spirits escape from it type of thing.
Oh yeah.
I'll bet that's what it is.
So this is a remake of the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, is what you're saying?
But with a Japanese flavor.
The
Ah,
13
yes.
yokai of Daisuke.
It's got the little girl from The Ring in it, and
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
The Grudge Kid.
Oh, they won't be able to resist doing that. I'm sure they'll do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe they'll have the smiling lady.
For
one-
the dog-faced man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe they'll just see the spiral.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Or there'll be a Kappa, probably. I don't know.
Yeah. That's yeah.
It looks like a fun take on Scooby-Doo, which also Netflix has, like, that'll come out around the same time as this, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix has a Scooby-Doo origin show coming out that's live action.
Really?
That's gonna, like,
oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
yeah, it's gonna explain how they all met. Which,
Oh boy, a pup named Scooby Doo,
Yeah.
but in real life.
Or
Hot
Riverdale?
take: Pup Named Scooby Doo is better
Riverdale,
than
the Scooby Doo.
what was
that's
that?
the best Scooby Doo, I think. Pup Named Scooby Doo, I think, is the best Scooby Doo.
Oh yeah.
It is really good.
Oh, I love that the school bully's name was Red Herring.
That was
And-
one of the best jokes, and I never
In every
understood it when I
episode,
was a
they tried
kid.
to blame it on Red Herring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Fred
great.
always tried to blame it on Red
Yes,
Herring.
Yes.
That's like one thing that bothers me about Warner Brothers is they have all of the Hanna-Barbera stuff, and that's like the only horse they're beating is Scooby-Doo. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was that
All these
that
great
Jellystone
things.
show.
what's that?
There was that Jellystone show.
That show was really good, actually.
I
For
don't think I know that.
Jellystone, yeah.
Yeah, it was primarily Yogi and Boo Boo and the other one.
the other one.
The what's her name? I can't think of her
Cindy
name.
Bear.
Yeah, something.
Also,
But they brought
Huckleberry
in-
Hound.
Yeah, but they brought in a bunch of other classic Hanna-Barbera.
Jabberjaw was a mainstay.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
they
nice.
they had what's his name for Space Ghost?
Yep.
Yeah. George
and
Lowe.
George Lowe. Like they had an episode that had
It was at
almost
Comic-Con.
everybody from Space Ghost Coast to Coast come in. It was yeah.
They were at Comic-Con.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
But it was
Nice.
that was a pretty good show.
Galtar. You guys know that one?
Galtar, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
so
we get-
good.
Yep.
The Herculoids.
Mm-hmm. oh God, what was it? The Jason the Wheeled Warriors,
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
yeah.
horrible ones.
Yeah, that was
That was
pretty
a
bad.
weird show. I watched that when we lived in Germany when I was like 3 to 6. I remember, I think I had nightmares about that actually.
Oh really?
Where he turns into the car, and his mouth gets all like big. Like,
Oh yeah.
His hands are the wheels. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Now I'm just thinking of that episode of Rick and Morty where right at the end of the show, or right at the end of the episode, Rick tells Morty that he programmed his body to transform into a car when he's stressed.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
turns into one in the middle of
Titans,
class as the after credits scene.
Oh, that's
I
great.
think Teen Titans Go spoofed that too, I think.
I think so.
It's
yeah.
possible. Teen Titans Go spoofed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Turbo.
Turbo Teen.
Turbo
That's
Teen,
it,
yeah.
Okay. Last couple of things. They're getting closer to the Young Frankenstein show, Very Young Frankenstein, which is being produced by Mel Brooks, and it's going to be another take on the movie Young Frankenstein. Fine. I love the original film. I don't think it needs a retelling, but
Mel Brooks needs money.
Well, no,
No.
he really doesn't.
I mean, it could be really good.
It could be
if
really
it's bad,
good.
they'll just sweep it under the rug like the animated Spaceballs show.
Well, they've cast Zach Galifianakis as, I'm guessing, probably
Frankenstein.
Dr. Frankenstein. Yeah,
could
and
be the monster.
he could be the
too.
monster, sure. And it's being worked on by Taika Waititi and the two other guys from What We Do in the Shadows. So there's some comedy.
There's a lot of good DNA in there.
Yeah.
pedigree in there.
You sold me on it right there, actually.
Yeah,
So,
I'll give it a fair shake. It's
Yeah.
just because they're making this doesn't mean the original film has to be destroyed or anything like that.
Also, yeah, What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show, is probably one of my all-time favorite TV shows. It's so good.
it was
Mm-hmm.
really fun.
Yeah.
I think I started watching it because of you, Cody. I'm pretty sure. I think I saw you talking about it, maybe posting about it, and I was like, I should probably watch that. And I did, and I loved it. It's so fun.
It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Like,
I
legitimately.
I still haven't watched the show or the movie.
I think the show's better than the movie, although I've had other people tell me the reverse.
No, I agree. I think the show's better than the movie too. The movie's
Yeah,
still
I
great, but I think the show's better.
Yeah.
Which one's Matt Berry?
The show.
The show.
The show. So that one's yes. That's the good. That's the better one. I went back and watched the first episode of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place the other day. Really, what isn't enough to be a check 'em or anything because it show's great. We've talked about it before, but yeah, Matt Berry is great on that as well.
He's great in everything
Yeah.
he does.
Yeah.
Still can't believe they made him a villager in the Minecraft movie.
He was supposed to be the main guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he was supposed to be
He was
Steve?
supposed to be Steve, but the scheduling didn't work out, and that's how Jack Black ended up Steve.
Oh.
It was supposed to. I want to be in that universe where it's Matt Berry's Minecraft movie. I would watch that one.
You mean like the Last Action Hero universe where
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone was the Terminator?
It's the same universe where Edgar Wright got to make an Ant-Man movie.
Oh, sure. Yeah. All right, and last thing we have on our list, so K-pop Demon Hunters is getting a live stage show that is going to be touring worldwide, produced by Netflix.
Yeah, the weird thing about this is how little they said of what it actually is.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't said who's performing. Is it a cartoon that you watch? Is it the three ladies that sing the songs?
That sing the songs.
And wrote the songs?
Yeah.
Like, what?
My guess is, and Josh, you mentioned this earlier before we started recording, it's probably going to be something like when you see the Gorillas, where they have the musicians and they have the singers and everything there, but they're going to drop, a sheet down and project the animated characters on the screen.
That would be such a waste of having the three actual performers there, too.
Sure.
So speaking of that, actually, I sent a video to a friend of mine. Her daughter is obsessed with K-pop Demon Hunters. And it was the girl who plays, I think, Rumi, and she was singing. And I sent it to her, and she's like, oh, check this out. And she's like, Mom, that's not her. So yeah, thinking of the actual actress, the actual singers singing the songs.
EJ, I think, is the name of Rumi's singing voice.
Yeah. But no, I think it's really cool that they're doing a live show, and the hype train just keeps going because that movie was good.
It's a legitimately really good fun movie.
Kind of blows me away that Sony
really
just
fumbled the ball there.
dumped it. Yeah.
But like I've said before, I don't think it would have been as popular as it is if it hadn't come out on Netflix.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that really opens up the audience to literally just about everyone.
Sony's loss is Netflix's gain.
Yeah.
And they will ride that all the way to the gold-plated bank.
Until you're sick of seeing it, just like Stranger Things.
Well, yeah.
So I did see they're doing a what was that one they did with the family versus the robots?
Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Yes,
That's a great movie.
Yeah, they're doing a second one.
Oh, really?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, my 8-year-old niece, 7-year-old niece, loves the Stranger Things animated series.
I forgot they did that.
Super into it.
Somebody has to.
Yeah. I've heard good things about it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Believe it or not. Yeah, it's all right.
It seemed okay. My kid watched it, so it was on while I was doing stuff. I kind of, kept an ear on it. Seemed okay. He really liked it, so that's all that matters.
I still haven't finished the last season. Every time I watch it, it's just like fine. Like it's not doesn't grab me enough to want to keep going, but it's also not like bad either. It's just kind of stuff happening.
Yeah, I've kind of felt that about the last few things I've sat down and tried to watch.
Stranger Things makes me kind of wish they stuck with the original idea. Every season was going to be an anthology. Every season was going to have a different story from beginning to end, but by the end of that first season,
they made the characters too good, and there was no way they could leave it.
Yeah, justify not doing another season with that same cast. But it was originally supposed to be...
And then another season.
It was supposed to be an American Horror Story style thing where every season was a different thing.
What they should have done is just give Robin her own show. Maya Hawke's character, she's my favorite Stranger Things character. She's so funny.
Oh, she was the girl that came in later, right?
Yeah.
The one kid, like.
Yeah. But Pizza Movie, did you guys watch that?
I haven't watched it.
Pizza Movie?
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's got Gayton or whatever, Matarazzo. Dustin is in it. That just reminded me. I just watched that like, I don't know, last week or something. It was okay. It's got like a Dude, Where's My Car? Harold and Kumar kind of feel to it. It's, if you're looking for something to watch, it's,
Well, you just said the magic word for me. I love stupid movies like Dude, Where's My Car? So, totally in.
I thought you were going to say the magic word was pizza.
Well, that too.
It's funny enough.
And now I'm hearing that sound effect of Michelangelo coming out of the manhole in the 1990 Turtles movie when April mentions pizza.
Oh, yeah.
So that sound. Do you say pizza? You guys eat pizza? Yeah, doesn't everybody?
All right, so I think we're pretty close to the end of the show here. So before we go, Josh, why don't you go ahead and plug your stuff one more time here?
cutthroatcomics.com. I've got 3 things that are on pre-order right now. Should be out by the end of June. Cocaine Stripper Stronghold, if you like zombie comedies like the Shaun of the Dead or From Dusk Till Dawn kind of thing. Death's Door, if you like Forrest Gump and deep philosophical character pieces, that's what that is. And then the Stingray trade paperback, Violence, Curse Words, and Aliens.
Excellent. All right. Well, Josh Nealis of Cutthroat Comics, again, thanks a lot for coming on the show this week, man. We always appreciate you coming in.
You said the name for Cocaine Stripper Stronghold came to you in a dream, didn't you?
Yeah.
I had that same thing happen to me a couple weeks ago. And now I'm making a post-apocalyptic JRPG called Gareth Den at the very end. Like I woke up just with that phrase in my head, and I was like, and then the whole game formed
just kind of popped around.
Like, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's where ideas come from for a lot of people. I've heard a lot of stories that Einstein and Paul McCartney came up with yesterday from like waking up in the middle of the night.
Yes, I did hear about that. I do know about that one. So
when you were talking about Cocaine Stripper Stronghold earlier, and you said it's going to be like a Wild West, a joke popped in my head. I was like, "This stronghold's not big enough for the 2 of us."
Yeah, it was a novel first, and the novel sold well, so I turned it into a comic series.
That's right.
As well.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
The novel is very, very raunchy.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up the show. You have been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can follow us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
If you want to reach to us and make a comment or a news story you want us to read, or you're from Zimbabwe and you want to say hello, you can send all those at staff@nerdoverload.com.
You can even give us a call. Let me try that again.
Yeah.
You can give us a call on the Nerd Overload hotline. The number for that's 412-345-1413. Leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the show.
Yep, that's right. You can find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we put our videos as well. And we stream every Monday on almost every Monday on Twitch. twitch.tv/nerdoverload. Easy enough.
In a perfect world, every Monday.
In a perfect world, every Monday. Yes. Finally, I'd like to thank Josh Nealis of Cutthroat Comics back on the show, David Pencil for our intro and outro, and Parker for finding some news articles for us. So again, thank you all for thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Zimbabwe out.
All right, so that's the main show. So yeah, that's it. Josh, man, thanks again for coming on. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys having me on. What is on the desk there? Right in front of Josh. If you move your right, yeah. What are those?
Bolts.
Yeah. So
okay.
yeah, I built the table out of just a scrap wood I had, but they're just kind of bolts right there in the middle.
It looked like half of a marble was like.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, they're just little bolts.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah. But anyway, man, appreciate you coming on. Don't want to take up too much more of your time. What are you're watching? I guess usually on Fridays you've been watching movies with your kid, right?
Yep. Every Friday. Yeah, we did Hot Chick last weekend.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
So ridiculous.
Yeah.
I might do Dogma now this coming Friday. He's 11 now, so he can the variety of things is kind of upped recently where he can understand it and stuff. So now I'm like, I don't know. We did White Squall a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay, sure.
That movie's so good if you've never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I used to love that movie.
Yeah, it's so Jason Marsden actually was. We were at a con in Tennessee and it was dead, and his I think they got married. I think it's the same girl, but his wife or girlfriend at the time was a cosplayer 2 tables down from me. So he walked over and we talked about White Squall for like half an hour.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's Spike from Buffy, right? Or am I thinking of a different Marsden?
No, that's Jason Marsden is he was on a couple episodes of Boy Meets World, Max Goof.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought he was
movie.
the voice of Robin from Batman the Animated Series, I think. I might be wrong on that one.
Oh, I don't think so, but he
Okay.
did Peter Pan from that Peter Pan Adventures.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Ooh, the Fox one with Tim Curry as Captain Hook.
Yeah,
The Adventures of
I
Pan
have
in Wonderland.
I have the full set of those action figures.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm hoping that, and they're carded. So if I ever run into him again, I'm going to get him to sign those.
Nice.
Excellent.
I loved that show. when I
Oh,
was a
so
kid.
it's on YouTube.
Is it? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It is. I have seen it on there.
Nice.
I remember an episode where they go to like an alternate version of Neverland where like Hook died and things are kind of dark and weird. Like the
Yeah.
show was already kind of dark as it was comparatively to like other things, other
Right.
Pan properties. But
It's-
yeah, that one was really dark because I remember seeing like Hook's grave, like a stick hanging out of a swamp with the hook on top.
I
Wow.
believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a wild.
Great
It was a
show.
wild show. Also,
Yeah.
that's where their treehouse entrance is where they
Right.
got the idea for the one they use in Hook. The treehouse that that Robin Williams' character goes to in Hook is
Yep.
the hideout from the Adventures of Pan and
Oh,
Wonderland.
that's awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome. All right.
That's
well,
one of my favorite movies too. So
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Hook.
yeah.
Hook is
great.
Hook is like the pinnacle. Like everything, the production value was just
Yep.
dripping in it.
Yeah.
Like when I think of pirates, I think of
Spielberg
like
even hates
Hook's
that movie,
crew.
which is wild.
Who does?
Spielberg has said he doesn't even like that movie.
Really?
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard. So I've never heard him say it, but that's crazy. It's like it's so good. I love that movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're Spielberg and you're comparing it to all of your other films, I suppose that is would be maybe one of
The
the
lower on the
one
rung,
of the
I
weaker
guess.
ones, I guess.
Maybe for him. not
I would have
for me.
said Ready Player One's the worst one he's done.
Oh, you don't
but
like that movie? I
Did
like that
not
movie.
care for
I
it.
hated the movie, hated the book.
I thought it was
Oh.
fine.
It was. I
I
mean,
think
it was
it's fun.
fine. I tried reading the book and it was. But
It's such
the
a
movie's fine.
self-fulating fantasy.
It was fine.
I thought the movie was fine.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Also, Justice for the Iron Giant. He didn't deserve that.
Yeah. I just watched that for the first time, like not that long ago.
The Iron Giant?
Yeah, I missed it as a kid somehow. I think I was just out of watching cartoons when
Oh,
it came
yeah.
out, and the thing I used for TV, it was on there, but like the sound cuts out like halfway through. So I bought it for my kid for his birthday. So we finally watched it. It was good.
Cool. It's a good movie.
I don't
Pretty
think
solid.
It's a
I don't
great
think I've
movie.
ever seen.
Great movie.
Well, it's fun watching it now because Brad Bird did the Invincibles and all that.
Yep,
And
you can see it.
Watching Iron Giant, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. It's
Yeah.
like same kind of thing. So
He's in Space Jam 2 also.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
I know. You know who else is in Space Jam 2?
The nun from the Devils.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guys from Clockwork Orange.
I was going to say the
Just
guys from Clockwork Orange.
watching a basketball game with Bugs Bunny and LeBron.
Pennywise.
Pennywise,
there.
yeah.
And the Batman Returns version of the Penguin and Catwoman.
It's so weird.
That's probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
it was not very. I didn't like it.
You know, going
not
back
care
and
for it.
rewatching the original Space Jam as an adult, God, that
Not
movie's
very good
it's not
either.
that movie's not very good either.
But it's fun. At
It's
least.
fun and it's nostalgic, but also Michael Jordan is just as bad an actor as LeBron James. So bad.
I laughed exactly one time during Space Jam 2, and it was when Michael B. Jordan showed up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because he's the wrong
Yeah,
Michael Jordan.
Right.
That
Michael
got
Jordan.
me.
yeah.
That was a good joke.
Yeah.
That was a good joke.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and hop off stream here. So, Josh, man, again, thanks for coming on.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Yep. Catch you later.
Take it
See
easy.
ya.
Yep. Okay. Oh, let's. Well, you know what? We'll that square there
White
over there.
Square.
Yeah, but I think we're also gonna go ahead and end here. So, guys, thumbs up at the camera. Here we go. And yeah, we'll see you next week.